We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice. You have locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice.
Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz wants advice.
It's Brandon wants advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz wants advice to the front.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you doing? This is the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, and I'm coming to you at 3:16 a.m. First off, I'd like to say this. This is the first time I'm trying to get 7 videos in within 4 days. That's all the NFL rankings video, the Millionaire Makeup video, and the 2 NASCAR videos this weekend. So I decided to rush. I was trying to get through it, and I can't believe I slipped a second string running back into my wide receiver rankings on fucking accident. I had that in my documents. So that's hilarious. If you want to see me put fucking Yieldin in my fucking wide receiver group, go right ahead. I mean, that's hilarious, man. I'm fucked in the head or something. That is hilarious. But yeah, guys, my NFL rankings are out, at least for everything but the running backs. Those will be out on Monday, but tight ends, quarterbacks, and wide receivers, or at least the guys that I'm targeting in those respective positions, are out. So please go check that out. And this video will be on the Xfinity Series at Iowa and the Truck Series at Pocono, covering both those right now. Hopefully this will get out in time for you guys to listen to it, see it, and all that type of stuff. I figured I'd go ahead and make it, so let's hop right into that. So we're going to be focusing on Iowa Speedway first. And the Xfinity Series. Now, this is more gonna be, I guess, not as detailed as I normally do. I'm mainly gonna just be focusing on guys that I really enjoy, guys that I actually feel like are actually worth the shit. So looking at low-end guys who I think are gonna be great plays tomorrow, depending on where they qualify, and I think they'll end up qualifying. Not bad, but I think they'll end up qualifying in the rear, and that's gonna help us out a whole lot. Now Iowa, we're going to tackle these tracks two completely different things. Iowa is going to be a let's find a dominator and let's just hammer them down. We need someone who's going to lead a lot of laps, because there is a lot of laps at Iowa, and you know, if we get place differential, so be it. But I just want good guys that are fast. So the guys that I'm looking at right now, Vinnie Miller. Granted, he was 34th fastest in the first practice, but guys, he is completely sponsored this weekend in the 78 car, and whenever Vinnie Miller is sponsored, he is killer. He is fucking great. Joey Gaze for NBA Motorsports is sponsored this weekend, so Joey Gaze is always in there. Stefan Parsons, who made his debut, or at least his only other start this year at Daytona, is the son of Phil Parsons, at least I believe it is, and not a lot of people know him. Camden Murphy in the number 93 for RSR Racing, the monster truck driver, is another guy that I really, really like. Now, another guy that I like for JD Motorsports is Ryan Repoko. Ryan Repoko. He's driving the 01 for JD Motorsports. He is completely sponsored there, and not a whole lot of data is with him regarding the Xfinity Series. I think this is his first ever start. He's ran in K&N and ARCA in the past, I believe. And then Chad Fitchum is sponsored for NBA Motorsports this week. The last 3 weeks he has been unsponsored, and that's why he is starting parked other than at Daytona. And then my last, quote unquote low on punter guy that I like is Will Rogers in the number 68 car. A guy that's actually younger than I am. I think he's not even 21 yet. I think he's 20. He's a K&N racer, has 4 K&N wins on road courses, but he ran 6 ARCA races last year. Got 4 top 10s and has ran at Iowa in a couple K&N races here with a 10th and 8th place respectively. Now that we're done, those are the punts I'm going to be looking at for Iowa in the Xfinity Series. All those guys are sponsored. All those guys are people that I feel can at least be there. We just have to see where they qualify. People that I think are going to dominate. It's going to be between. I think it's going to be Christopher Bell. I think Bella's going to just end up being the faster guy there just because he stayed the most consistent. Reddick might end up showing up, but I do want to see how qualifying goes to just make sure. It's either going to be Bell or Custer. And these last 2 weeks have been an odd situation where you could literally take the top 3 best drivers and win the GPP, because the week before last it was Reddick, Custer, and Bell. Last week it was Custer, Bell, and Allgaier, which I actually called in my podcast. I said those guys were the 3 best. They finished 1, 2, 3, and that hasn't happened other than the last 2 weeks. So I'm not exactly sure how I want to go about this. Do I chase that trend or not? Looking at other guys, excuse me, that I like, that aren't, excuse me. That's what happens when you're filming this at 3:30 a.m. Someone who I think will be at least a good value play, probably Zane Smith in number 8 car, not having a whole lot of love thrown his way. Riley Hurst in the 18 car. I mean, guys, this is Iowa. That's where Riley Hurst, or at least on these short tracks, that's where Riley Hurst has sharpened his teeth. Brandon Brown, always a favorite for me. Or at least a guy that I like. And then obviously, whether it be John or Nemechek, Cindric, Gregson, or Jones and Net. I think Net is going to be good. He was 11th fastest second practice, and then in the first practice, Michael Net was 13th. And typically, anytime you can get Michael and Net that consistent in practice, he ends up being very, very well, or at least he ends up being a very good play. On the actual main race. Hopefully I'm a little bit louder now. I just saw that my audio was going pretty quiet there. But yeah, those are the main guys that I like right now for the Xfinity Series. Like I said, I'm just trying to go through this so I at least have it up for you guys. Now looking at the Truck Series race at Pocono. Now qualifying is already out, but I just want to say that I believe Todd Gilliland is the car to beat right now. The 51 of Christian Eckes. Another guy that I like, the 20 car? I gotta make sure. Yeah, the 20 car of Spencer Boyd is standing out to me. I like him in practice. Number 49 of Ray Sitch. I can't even pronounce it right now. I'm too fucking tired. Ray in the 49 cars who I like, and then Grant Enfinger in the Havoline. I mean, that, I don't get what people are saying about that Havoline car being that sexy. It looks kind of ugly to me. It looks like they just took a black car and put a Havoline sticker on it, but whatever, man. Either way, Enfinger is showing a good little deal right there. Looking at price wise for the Truck Series, because a lot of it is already predetermined, and there's not a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of laps here at Pocono. So you're going to want to at least try and look at a place differential and see if guys are going to be starting and parking. And remember, we go to Eldora next, which is going to be a fucking badass race. But a lot of guys are using their better cars for that, and that's just how it goes. Natalie Decker, she's wrecked every fucking week, but I think this might actually be a good week to take her. Just because, why not? Everyone thinks she's going to end up wrecking. Norm Bennings, they're in 29th. Totally a play I can get behind. You got, Bryant Barnhill starting 28th, number 34 car. Certainly another one that I like. Ryan Cicilleri, I already said him. Austin Wayne Self starting 18th. I'm a fan of him. Tyler Dipple, Spencer Boyd. Spencer Boyd is always a good play at 25th. Not sure I would be on the long course of Pocono, but he's certainly always helpful there. Obviously, Ben Rhodes is where I'm going to go if I have enough money. Same with Johnny Sauter. But Grant Enfinger is probably my main favorite guy right now because he's starting 10th. He's more expensive than Sauter and Rose, and I would hope people go to those two. And for $10,200, not everyone can afford Grant Enfinger, so hopefully people stay away from that. Now, granted, I just got back home not too long ago from work. I haven't had time to really dive through all the practice stats and all that type of stuff. So my plays might end up being a little bit different tomorrow, but this is pretty much what I've accumulated so far, especially for the Xfinity Series. I know between those 6 guys, that's who I want to use as punts just because they have sponsorship and all that type of stuff. So guys, thank you for listening. I know this is up fast, but I want to get this out of the way for you. I promised I'd do it. Check out my NFL videos, other than having a fucking running back and a fucking wide receiver list on accident. And the reason it's because like that is because when I wrote everything down on my piece of paper, I did it just like yards per catch, or I did it just receiving statistics, and that was obviously not the way to go. And I fucked up there, and I even said the same thing for James White in my documents, and for whatever fucking reason I made sure not to put James White in the fucking wide receiver one, because he's, I mean, James White's basically a wide receiver for New England, but I just didn't do it there. So anyway, guys, follow me on Twitter, check out my NFL videos. I will have a Cup Series video up tomorrow night related to the Cup Series race at Pocono. But thank you guys so much for listening. Don't get married to your money, and have a fantastic evening.